I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in UK test part 612 while doing morning stretching. The second half of the video, and if you participate in the morning stretching, that is at your own risk. We are now trying to record what we have learned about the Houses of Commons and House of Lords, House of Parliament. Houses of Parliament. In the House of Commons, where the MPs voted in most members of the cabinet are members of the House of Commons. And they represent all the constituencies. And in the House of Lords, there are the peers, and they are appointed by the Prime Minister of his political party or her political party, or also of the leader of the opposition can appoint some peers, and also there's an appointment commission for some members of parliament who happen to be in no parliament and party. And the Houses of Lords, they are proposing new laws. The people in there, they have special qualities. They, for example, have careers and professions in laws and in lawmaking and business. Lawmaking and business in laws. But the House of Commons then checks them, the House of Commons passes them, discusses them, and the House of Commons has more power. And the House of Lords then looks if they are fit for purpose, what comes from the House of Commons and new laws, and the House of Commons has power to overrule. That all happened with Magna Carta in 1250. I don't know if there was anything in the previous thing. No, just King John was forced to sign the Magna Carta. The nobility had to ask for money if he wanted to tax or make laws. And then there came that formed that was when the Parliament that became too big, and two houses were created: the Houses of Lords and the Houses of Commons. In the Houses of Commons, there were knights and wealthy people, and in the House of Lords, there were the nobility and the bishops and the great landowners. But today, in the House of Commons, after changes in voting rights, for example, in 1833 and 1867, I have to learn this one day, one time. 32 and 67, and the two numbers, which are in the middle, 1832, 1837, 5 years later, 55 years later, no, 45, no, 35. 1830 to 1867, the two in the middle of the fiber pack. 1832, 1867, and now all the people could vote, also women got the right in 1928, and now the people in the House of Commons, they are the people of all the people, just voted in, and the Houses of Lords, they are appointed based on people of members of Parliament, and they are no longer hereditary peers, as it was in the past. And the Houses of Parliament are built in the new arrival. What do I have with arrival? In the new arrival, yes, I could say it in the new arrival. In the revival, that is what I'm going to say. In the revival of a medical study. Let's try it. I have a second camera rolling and I try to send now. The Houses of Parliament. In Britain, there are the House of Commons and the House of Lords. In the House of Commons, there are the members of Parliament, and these are all these people who have won in the constituency in the last general election. So there are a lot of areas in the United Kingdom where the people are voting, and the person to whom the most people have voted for, that becomes a member of Parliament and represents now in the House of Commons that constituency. And all these members of Parliament of all these different areas in the United Kingdom, they are discussing then new laws and how the politics goes. In the House of Lords, these people are called peers, and they are, for example, proposing new laws. These people, they are oftentimes from careers of lawmaking or from business, and so they are good in making laws and know how to do it. These people in the House of Lords, they are advised by the Prime Minister who's the leader of a main political party who have won the general election, or also by the leader of your opposition, or for some people who are not part of any political party, there's an appointment commission. They are advised that to become the new peers in the House of Lords to the monarch, and the monarch then appoints them to become the members of the House of Lords. So the people in the House of Commons, these are the members of Parliament. They had won in the constituency in the election, and the people in the Houses of Lords, they are appointed by the monarch on advice of a prime minister or someone else to form the people of members of Parliament. Are they to become the next peers for the life? And the House of Lords proposes new laws, and they're making new laws, they're writing them down, and the House of Commons then discusses them. And the House of Lords looks if what the House of Commons had given that laws, if it is fit for purpose, they're checking them one to the other, but the House of Commons can overrule the House of Lords. Now, how did it all start? In 1215, there was King John, and he was forced to sign the Magna Carta. And in that Magna Carta, there was listed down what right the nobility has against the king. And from that moment on, the king had to ask the nobility if he wanted to make new tax rates, if he wanted money. So from that moment on, 1215, when the Magna Carta was signed, the king had always to ask if he wanted money, the nobility to get the money, and that was then called the Parliament. He then assembled the people, the nobility, and that was called the Parliament. The Parliament had then gotten bigger, and it was separated in the House of Commons and the House of Lords. In the House of Commons, there were wealthy people and knights, and in the House of Lords, there were the bishops and the nobility and great landowners. Then over the time, that changed in these 800 years, and there could come more people in the House of Commons. Voting changes were reformed in 1832 and 1867, and then women's voting right was also established in 1918 and 1928. And now the people in the House of Commons are just people who are voted in by most people. So the most people are just saying we want that person, and that person becomes a member of Parliament in the House of Commons. And the people in the House of Lords, they are no longer hereditary peers. They don't inherit their title to become peers in the House of Commons, but they are appointed by the monarch based on advice of a prime minister or the leader of a position on people of a House of Commons. And the whole building, that Houses of Parliament, that is in London, it's next to the Big Ben, and it is built in the 19th century in a revival of a medieval Gothic style. And that is according to the Live in UK Test Handbook, page 110 and 111. Now we're going to do a separate video for the House of Commons and a separate video for the House of Lords. But not now. I'm going to stop the camera. I hope it was on. It was. And we will do now the morning stretching. If you're here to make the separate video about the House of Commons and the House of Lords, then you can go directly to the next video, because we will do now just the morning stretching. If you participate in the morning stretching, that is the video. Having your legs standing on shoulder wide apart, and we're doing forward shoulder circles. We're going back, up, in front, and down. And again, back, up, and front, and down. The last door. And out, front. And again, in front. And the last round. And now breathe in, lift the shoulders up. And breathe out and let the fall down. And breathe in and lift the shoulders up. And out and let the fall down. And breathe in and lift the shoulders up. And out, let the fall down. Breathe in and lift the shoulders up. And out. Now we're doing the upper back up. Breathe in and lift the arms up. And now we reach high. Pretend to take an apple hanging high on an apple branch. And then to pluck it. And we're going to do the last two. Now we're doing the shifter. Legs wide apart, arms up to a T, and we're breathing in. And out, shifting over to one side, just with the upper part of the body. Breathe in into the middle, and out over to the other side. Breathing in, and out. Again in, and out. Again in. And the last round, breathe out. Again in. Out. Breathe again in. And out, we're leaning onto our knees. We're doing the buffalo fight against hangover. Breathe again in. And out. Shoulder front. Breathe again in. And out, shoulder front. Again in, shoulder back. And out the other one in front. Breathing in. And out the shoulder front. In. And out. In. And last one out. Not last one, last time. Breathing in, shoulder back. And out, we come down. Now breathing in. And out. Again in. And out we go over to one leg. Breathe in. And out over to the other leg. Breathe in. Out in the middle. And breathe in. And out we're coming slowly up with our own back. And making it from top and backwards. Shoulder. Now we're doing the garland pose. Toes are pointing to the outside, we're having an ordinary space between the heels. We're breathing in and lifting the arms up. And we're breathing out and we're sinking down. And we're placing the elbows against the insides of the knees. Now breathe in and straighten up the back. And breathe out, we come back up. Breathe again in. And out we come down. And breathe in. And out again with the back up. Breathe again in. And out again down. And now breathe in. Out we're coming slowly up in one straight line. And to the seahorse pose. We're having a good standing leg. The heel of a mobile leg comes off above the knee of the standing leg. You do this only if you can do it without to injure yourself. Breathe again. And out and we're sinking down. The media and the government. We want to do a part about that. The proceedings of the Parliament are broadcasted on television. We're changing the leg. And the official report, or they are published in the official report called Hansard. And reports of what is happening in the Parliament can be found in libraries or at parliament.uk. Most people are looking what's happening in the Parliament through newspapers called the press, television, radio, internet. The UK is free press. The press can write whatever we want. We're going to say this thing about 1695. And some newspaper holders have opinions and try to influence the politics. And there are also some laws that the reporting has to be balanced on all opinions. Last exercise, we're breathing in and out. Again in and out. Again in. Out. And the last round, breathe in. Now we're going to close the next. I know it. That doesn't want glitching. I thank you very much, and until next time.